Hello, this is going to be lesson 3.3. We're going to be talking about subtracting rational numbers, part 1. Minimize myself here. Let's get started. Standards are I can subtract positive and negative rational numbers. And it's from 7NS1C. Understand subtraction of rational numbers as adding the additive inverse. And you should know what the additive inverse is now, right? P minus Q equals P plus negative Q. So that's basically saying, grab my tool here. What that's basically saying here is changing the minus a number into a number plus the opposite of that number, or the additive inverse of that number. Just going to circle that there. Show that the distance between two rational numbers on the number line is the absolute value of their difference, and apply this principle in real world contexts. So let's begin. We're going to focus on the first part of that standard. I began to understand math and it's gone. Hopefully that's not happening to you. Let's move on. Gotta love my math memes. Okay, subtracting positive rational numbers on the number line. So here's our first question. The temperature on an outdoor thermometer on Monday was 5.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature on Thursday was 7.25 degrees less than the temperature on Monday. What was the temperature on Thursday? So we're going to solve this word problem. So here we have a number line. It looks a little more complicated than the other ones we've seen, but it really isn't. This is quarters, right? This is going to be 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1, 1.75, 1.5. I mean 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, 2, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75, 3. Going the other way, we're going to have negative 0.25, negative 0.5, negative 0.75, negative 1. Negative 1.25, negative 1.5, negative 1.75, etc. Just want you to get a feel for how that number line is working. Now, what is going to be our first step is we're going to start at 5.5. Where would that be on the number line? Here's 5. 5.5 is halfway between 5 and 6, so it's going to be right here. So we're going to bring our dot out. There it is, 5.5. And then we're going to move 7.25 units to the left. Why? Because we are subtracting a positive number, if that makes sense. We're subtracting a positive number, so we're going to move the opposite direction. So there we go. And if I move 7.25 units, let's just do that. So let's see what's exactly 1 unit. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7 right here. And then we have to go a quarter more. So that's how we end up right there. Where you land is your answer. And we landed on negative 1.75. So the question was, what was the temperature on Thursday? What was the temperature on Thursday? So it was negative 1.75 degrees Celsius. Try this some more. A group of campers set up their tent at 6.25 meters above sea level. They hiked down a valley and stopped 9.5 meters below where they set up camp. What is the camper's elevation when they stop? There's our number line. Again, it looks like the last one. It's divided into quarters, or 0.25s. Start at 6.25 where the hikers began. Where's 6.25? Way over here, right? On this little mark right here. So let's put that in there. There it is. And now we're going to move 9.5 units to the left. because you are going further away from sea level. You're going to go to the left because you're going farther down, right? And I don't know if it's 9.5 or 9.25 because I have the typo there, but let's see what happens. Okay, it's taking me there. So how many jumps was that? Here's 6.25. I'm going to have to go a full 9. So that's going to give us, there's 1 whole jump, 2 whole jumps, 3 whole jumps, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Way over here is 9. And then I went 1, 2 quarters. And that's 9.5. So the only thing I made a mistake on then is just typing this. And maybe I can write over it. Maybe. 9.5. So that's correct. The one in the word problem is correct. So I moved 9.5 units to the left because I was going further away from sea level. Because notice how they're going 9.5 meters below where they set up camp. Okay, so what is my answer then? What did I land on? I landed on negative 3.25. Negative 3.25. Okay. All right, you're going to get a chance to try this out with a word problem and a number line. Okay, welcome back. Stick with me here for some of this more complicated subtracting stuff. We're subtracting positive rational numbers, this time without a number line. Positive rational numbers. So we have negative 6.5 minus 2. 2 is a positive number because I can do this, right? And this isn't really the negative sign. This is a subtraction sign. Remember, there's a difference. So this is a subtraction sign. All right, how do we do this without a number line? Well, 1, we rewrite the equation into an addition equation, just like we did with integers. Remember what we did with integers? If we had negative 3 minus 5, for example, we would rewrite that as negative 3 plus negative 5. So we keep the first number, parentheses around this, change the sign to addition, and this is a positive 5, so we change it to a negative 5. So then we have negative 3 plus negative 5, that'll give us negative 8. So it's going to be the same kind of thing here with rational numbers as it was with integers. So let's rewrite this equation. So it becomes negative 6.5, that stays the same. Change our subtraction sign to an addition sign and change our second number to the opposite of what it was, to the additive inverse of what it was. It was a positive 2, and now it's a negative 2. And now we add. They're the same signs, so we add them together, and they're going to have what kind of sign? A negative sign. Since the numbers have the same sign, add them, and the answer takes the sign of the numbers. So negative 6.5, line up your dot. There's no dot in negative 2, so you just add a 0.0, and then we add. So if we add that up, we'll get negative 8.5. Try another one. We have negative 1.5 minus 2. So we're going to rewrite that as an addition equation. So negative 1.5, we keep the first number, we change the sign, and then we change the second number to the opposite. So it's keep, change, opposite. Notice how we change this to an addition sign, and we change a positive 2. This is a positive 2 because this is a subtraction sign, not a negative sign. Change our positive 2 to a negative 2. So now we have 2 negative numbers that we're adding together. So they're going to take the sign of the negative because the numbers are negative. So we're adding them together. Negative 1 and 1/2 plus -2. We add the 1/2 and the nothing, so that would give us 1/2. And then we add the -1 and the -2, which would give us -3. So it should be -3.5. Oh, I'm missing the 3. Let's put that in there. I don't know. Sometimes when I type these out, I forget things. So -3.5. Oh, clear my board here. Okay, next. -2.25 minus 5.5. We're going to rewrite it as an addition equation. Pause the video and see if you can do that. Then check to see that you did it right. Okay, here it is written as an addition equation, -2.25. We keep the first number. We change the sign, and we take the second number and make it the opposite. Keep, change, opposite. So now 5.5 becomes -5.5. And now we have two negative numbers, so we're going to add them together by lining up the dot and giving it all I've got. Don't worry, I'm not going to play that video and dance for you today. -2.25 plus -5.5. We add those together. And if I was to add those together, I get 5 plus nothing is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Line up my dot. 5 plus 2 is 7. Both are negative. It's going to take the negative sign. See if that answer pops up. There it is, -7.75. Let's continue. -3 1/4 minus 1. So we're going to change it to an addition equation. Pause the video, try it first. Okay, let's make it an addition equation. -3 1/4 plus -1. This is turning to a plus sign. And this +1 here is turning to a -1. Okay. Get rid of those extra lines. Set that up. So we have -3 1/4 minus 1. Notice how I'm lining up the whole numbers together and the fractions together. So now if I were to subtract that, it's add it, because we're adding it, they're both negatives. 1/4 plus nothing is just going to be 1/4. And then I have -3 plus -1. That will be my -4. So the answer is -4 1/4. And there we go. Okay, oh, clear it. Let's give you a chance to give this a try, and I'll see you back in a moment. Welcome back. Let's continue. Now we're going to subtract negative rational numbers on the number line. We've only been subtracting positive rational numbers. Now let's subtract negatives. During the hottest week of the summer, the water level of the Muskrat River was 5-6 foot below normal. The following week, the level was 1/3 foot below normal. What is the overall change in the water level? Change in the water level. Well, bring our number line down. And let's see, what does this cut into? This looks a little weird. Look at all the tick marks between 0 and 1. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each one of these tick marks is 1/6. This is 1/6. This is 2/6. I'm going to write this in here just so you can get the idea of what's going on here. This is 3/6. This is, 4/6. And this is 5/6. And if I was to keep counting in 6, the 1 would be really 6/6, right? But we know that 6/6 is really 1. Then we also know that 2/6, let me change colors here. We know that 2/6 could really be called 1/3, right? If we reduced it. right? And 4/6 could really be called 2/3 if we reduced it. So we also can count these in thirds. So let's see what we're doing here. So we're going to start at -1/3. So we got to find where -1/3 is. So if you were looking on here, where would -1/3 be? This is -1/6, right? This is -2/6, but isn't -2/6, isn't 1/3 or -1/3 the same thing? Just like on the other side of 0 that we just did? Yes, so it's going to be right here. We're going to put our dot in there. So let me erase that. I could have left that there, I suppose. Put our dot there. That is -1/3. I'm actually going to put that back. -1/3. And then what direction are we going to go? The following week, the level was 1/3 foot below sea level. So is the water level going up or is it going down? We're going to move 5/6 to the right because you are subtracting a negative number. 5/6 units to the right. So here we go. There we go. Now 5/6, let's count that out. Starting here, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6 to the right. There we are at 3/6. What's another name for 3/6? Could it possibly be 1/2? It could, right? You can reduce 3/6 into 1/2. Okay. Where you land is your answer, and we landed on the 1/2 or the 3/6. And let's clear all this. 3/6 is also equal to 1/2. So we landed on the 1/2. Okay, can you see that? It says when adding a negative number, move to the left. It's just the opposite of adding a positive number. So just think about it. It's backwards, right? When adding a negative number, move to the left. When subtracting a negative number, move to the right. Okay, because when you subtract it, you're going to get more to the right. Okay, subtracting negative rational numbers on the number line. We're going to continue. Kaya put 30 cents in her piggy bank this week. Last week, she spent $1.60 from her piggy bank. What was the overall change in the amount in her piggy bank? So the 30 cents is a positive. She put the money in. The $1.60 is money she took out of her piggy bank. So that's a negative. Let's see, is our number line different this time? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's in tenths this time. So this is going to be 0.1. This is going to be 0.2. So this is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Right in the middle is 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, a little bit crowded here, and 1.9, and then 2. And then if we continue to be 2.1, 2.2, going the other direction, we have -1.1, -1.2, etc. Oh, I'm not at 0. I'm zeros over here. So this is, we don't have to go below 0. So never mind on that. Let's erase these two. So this is 0, this is 0.1, this is 0.2, this is 0.3, etc. And then when we get to 1, we start with 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. If we did go to the negative direction, we would have -0.1, -0.2. But I guess we're not going to need that in this problem, so we didn't have to go to the negative. So let's see. Next, it says start at 0.30. 0.30. We have that labeled right here, right? This is 0.30. This is 1.3 over here, so it's 0.30. So our dot goes right there. And you erase the extra dot and the dot. And then we're going to move $1.60 or 1.6 units to the right because you are subtracting a negative number. Normally subtraction goes to the left when we're adding, right? When we're subtracting, we're going to go 1.6 units to the right. So 1.6, we have to go a whole 1. So we're going to start out way over here. That's our whole 1 jump. And then we have 0.6 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should end up right there. Let's see what our arrow does. Yep, that's where we ended up. So what number is that? 1.9. Where you land is your answer. 1.9, or in our case, it's money. It's $1.90. So the overall change in her account was $1.90. Okay. Clear this. Again, when adding a negative number, move to the left. When subtracting a negative number, move to the right. Okay, you're going to have some number lines to try. I'll see you back in a minute. Welcome back. Now let's continue without the number line. So we're going to subtract negative numbers without the number line. So we have negative 1.5 minus negative 3.25. What do? Same thing we did before. Rewrite the equation as an addition equation. Let's change the color here. We're going to say keep the first number, change the sign, change the second number to the opposite. Keep, change, opposite. So negative 1.5 stays the same. This becomes an addition equation. And we change negative 3.25 to positive 3.25. So now what I have is I have a negative number and I have a positive number. What do we know about adding a negative number and a positive number? Well, we're actually subtracting, and the sign is going to be the number that's bigger, right? So that's what we're doing. So we're going to put 3.25 on top and 1.5 on the bottom. I put 3.25 on the top because it's the bigger number and I'm subtracting. That way I won't get messed up. 5 minus 0 is 5. I can't take a 5 from a 2, so I borrow from the 3 and make it a 2. This 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. I put the decimal point and then I do 2 minus 1 is 1. So $1.75, or not $1.75, we're not talking money, 1.75 or 1 75 hundredths. There's our answer. Okay, next one. 3 3/4 minus 1 1/2. So rewrite the equation as an addition equation. 3 3/4 plus negative 1 1/2. Keep, change, opposite. So now we're going to solve it, but we're going to have to subtract because we have a positive number and a negative number, so we have to subtract them when we add them together. I'm going to put the 3 3/4 on top because it's the bigger number, and the 1 1/2 on the bottom because it's the smaller number. I feel like I'm not going to have any room here to solve this, but let's see if we can squeeze it in. We have to get the same bottom number, don't we? So let's see if we can squeeze it in here. The 4 can stay the same, so we can keep the 3/4 the same. The 1/2 we're going to change into fourths. So we're going to put a 4 here. We're going to say 2 times what gives me 4? Well, 2 times 2 gave me 4. So that means I have to times by 2 on the top here. 1 times 2 is going to be 2. And now I am prepared to subtract. 3/4 minus 2/4 is going to give me 1/4. 3 minus 2 is 1. Keep the 4 the same. Then I subtract the whole numbers. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the final answer will get the sign of the bigger number. Since 3 3/4 is bigger, it's going to be a positive 2 1/4. There it is, 2 1/4. Let's clear this. Okay, try some more. You should pause the video and try this one and then see if you got it right. 6.25 minus 2.75. Rewrite it as addition. 6.25 plus negative 2.75. Now we have opposite signs that we're adding together, so we're really subtracting. Don't forget to put the 6.25 on the top of the equation. And then we do our subtraction. So it says addition, but we're really subtracting because they're different signs, right? 5 minus 5 is 0. Can't take a 7 from a 2, so we borrow from the 6 and make it a 5. And we bring the 1 over here, and we have 12 minus 7. 12 minus 7 is 5. Don't forget to line up your dot. 5 minus 2 is 3. Which number is bigger, 6.25 or negative 2.75? Well, 6.25 is bigger, so this is going to be a positive 3.50. There we go. The next one is negative 5 1/8 minus negative 2 1/2. Notice that there's a negative here. So again, we're going to rewrite it as addition. Pause the video, try it, come back and see if you got it right. Okay, so we're going to rewrite it as addition. Negative 5 1/8 stays the same. The subtraction sign that's over here becomes an addition sign. And since this is a negative 2 1/2, it becomes a positive 2 1/2. Now that I have that, I see that I have a negative number and I'm adding a positive number. So I'm really subtracting the two numbers. So I have negative 5 1/8, and I'm going to subtract 2 1/2 from that. How do I do that? Well, hopefully we got a little bit of room here. We have to get the same bottom number, right? So we're going to put eighths here. That's going to stay the same. That'll just be 1/8. This one here is going to change to eighths. Hopefully you can see that okay. We got the right side of the screen there. 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times 4 gives me 8. So I'm going to times by 4 on the top. 1 times 4 is going to give me 4. Now I'm subtracting, right? So let's think about this. Can I take a 4 from a 1? No, I can't, right? So I have to borrow. I have to go over to the 5, the whole number, right? And make it a 4. And I'm going to bring 1 over to this side by the fraction side. So I'm bringing 1 over. However, I'm not going to call it 1 because it's fractions. I'm going to rename it as 8 over 8. Now, I can't just subtract yet because I already had a 1/8 over there. So I have to add my 8/8 to my 1/8. So what's 8/8 plus 1/8? Right, that's going to give me 9/8. So I'm going to change this number to a 9/8. Now I can subtract. 9 minus 4 is going to give me 5. And then eighths just stay the same, eighths, 5/8. And now I subtract 4 minus 2 and get 2. Which number is bigger? Well, negative 5 1/8 is bigger, and since that was the negative, I'm going to get a negative sign at the bottom. So it's going to be negative 2 5/8. There's our answer, negative 2 5/8. That one was the tough one. Okay, I'm going to clear my drawings. And now you get a chance to try some of these harder problems. Good luck. Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some higher order thinking. Evan said that the difference between two negative numbers must be negative. Was he right? Use examples to illustrate your answer. So he's saying when you subtract two negative numbers, you're always going to get a negative answer. Is that true? Well, let's try examples here. Here we are subtracting two negative numbers. -4 minus -1, that's going to equal -4 plus +1, which gives us a negative answer of -3. So in this case, that worked. Two negative numbers here resulted in a negative answer. Is that always true though? Let's try the next one. Two negative numbers, -5 minus -8, change it to addition, -5 plus +8. What will the answer be? +3. So here's a case where two negative numbers resulted in a positive answer. So he's not right, is he? It won't always be a negative answer. So Evan is partly right, right? Sometimes the answers can be negative, but sometimes the answers can be positive, right? Okay. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. Your homework is on Google Classroom, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.